Hello. I was just did that first video where I was walking in circles. Um, I'm gonna I know this is like really boring, tedious. The average person don't even bother watching this unless you have a family member, friend, or yourself have ADHD. If you have been taking a break from work, or if, let's say, you're in college and you're on a break, breaks of time in between things that have any kind of structure are bad. This is where I'm at now. So, yesterday I filmed some and I did an update for you guys, and it was quite long. Um, so, as bad as it is, it's gotten pretty bad. Um, I'm going to do this every day, like a little filming, and as horrible as I look, and as spaced out as I am, because I'm kind of like could easily go into a depression at this point because I'm like losing it. This might help somebody who's like me. Because if you don't have anyone around you who struggles with these things, you do feel crazy. You're not crazy. So we're going to do this together. And I'm just going to allow, as embarrassing it is as it is, I'm going to track my progress. If I'm symptomatic and I look really bad and I'm spacing out like a crazy person, I'm probably going to film part of it because that's where I'm at. Also, in a month from now, hopefully less than that, I'll be doing a lot better. It's a lot of work to get yourself back to what you would call, you can never really be normal. But there is no normal. Normal doesn't exist. But to get back to functional, if you remember in times in your life when you were, it takes a lot of work. So right now I'm at ground zero. This is pretty much me at my worst. I can't believe I'm putting this on the internet. But if you hang with me for a little while, hopefully it'll be 20 days and not 30 days. I'm going to walk you through what I do to pull myself out of these situations. If you're in a depression, that you have to go seek counseling and get medicine for, if you can take it, if you aren't against it. But this and this, it needs to stop. This needs to stop. And if I document myself every day, a little bit every day, this is going to help me. And it's probably going to help you too, because it's really hard to have a good perspective on where you're at for your progress. Because when you look back at the times when you are very productive and successful in your life, you're just thinking it was like easy. So our perspective is off, right? And then we don't think about maybe the price we paid for all the things we were doing. So we don't see that right. And then when we're at our worst, we just are so embarrassed and so depressed about it, and we don't understand it, that we go into a depression and it just feeds on itself. Especially right now where I've been very isolated. So I'm not going to set any goals for myself today yet in this video. I'm just going to track. I'm going to probably film a couple of little short videos and key points in my day so as to not be too long. And I will kind of see if I can learn how to stitch them together in one montage. So after I filmed that short one a minute ago, feels like a minute to me. Actually, I think it was 20 minutes ago. So I was walking while I was recording, and as soon as I turned off the phone, I kept walking, and I rewatched it. So that was like another 5 or 10 minutes. So basically I just walked for at least 10 minutes, might be 10 to 15 minutes. I wasn't really timing it. But my goal is to, of course, get back into habits. When I talk about pills through protein, that means that you just say pills from when you stand up, when you wake up, to you literally walk over to them and take them. And this might not seem hard to you because you, in your mind, you're thinking you're just going to do it, but you'll catch yourself like halfway between you and going to where the pills are. You could keep them by your bed if you have like a pill case. That might help you. If you think you get distracted, like it could easily go into the other room, realize I have to do laundry, put in a load of laundry, walk into the kitchen to get something to eat, open the cabinet, start to make something to eat, realize I have dishes to do, start doing dishes, realize my feet are cold now, stop in the middle of me doing dishes, walk over to put some socks on my feet because now my feet are cold and my sensitivities are bothering me. And then I can't find my socks. And then I realize, where's the rest of my laundry? And then I start looking for that. This is how ADHD might affect you. And because you're so caught up in all of these things that you keep getting distracted by one after another, especially if you've just woken up and you haven't had anything to eat yet or drink. So that's if you're that bad, because some people have ADHD and it's not that bad, right? There's like I said, there's a spectrum of severity. And at least for this part in my life right now, until I can get back on track, it's really bad. And it's really depressing and it's embarrassing, and I know that there have been times that I have been much more functional and I've been able to get in better habits and it not be as much of a problem. So, but as in your mind, you remember, oh, I did this, and this, but it doesn't work out that way when you're first starting. So if you have symptoms as bad as me and you end up isolating yourself because you're embarrassed, right? And now you're to the point that you're isolated, maybe you're taking time off of work, whatever the situation is, if you've minimized your hours at work because you're starting to lose it and you can't keep up with the pace, you do have the danger of, I don't really have a word for it. I call it falling into my head. That's when the time thing happens. Well, that's the time blindness thing happens anyway. But it's like a time warp. It's bad. It's bad. So what can I do? What are controllables? Well, starting new habits is really hard if your ADHD is bad. So one of the things that I learned, and I don't know if I talked about it before. Let me check the time really quick. Okay, I can see that I've only been talking to you for 9 minutes. I'm not talking to you for an hour this time. See, I love once I sit down and I'm waking up and I'm drinking my coffee, drinking my water. It's that in-between time. And that's how it used to be. I used to be able to do that and then transition into waking up. I don't know if it's because I'm older that transitions into the time loop thing. And then easily hours could go by. I kid you not. Yesterday, after I had the long video I did where I was sharing my day 1 and where I'm at, I have had a sore throat. part of me was like, okay, are you just desperately making an excuse for yourself so that you don't have to start making habits because it's hard? You know, that's where my mind's at. I'm like, I'm like, no. You always want to try to stop and separate yourself from your emotions if you can. It's really hard to do, especially if you're neurodivergent, because part of it, and some more than others, there's an emotional regulation issue sometimes. So I just lost track. I think as embarrassing as this is, and as much as I would never share this, I think I'm just... God, this is super embarrassing. I think about who might see this. I look so old. Again, haven't put a comb through my hair. I don't remember the last time I was outside. All I know is that if I don't start to do something, I'm going into a bad depression. I feel it. I feel it like it could come. And that's where I was when I started my counseling, maybe like 2 years ago. It was bad. And the things that kind of triggered it, the feeling of being trapped, that has to do with where I'm at. That's a story for another time, because I'm not going to sit here for an hour again. Yeah, I am coming down with a cold. I've definitely been congested. I mean, granted, we've just started having, sorry if I keep shaking. I don't have this on a stand right now. We just started having cold days because it's fall. So yeah, my throat's going to be a little bit sore. But I've been, just want to say like 5 days. So yeah, I was on the fence yesterday. I figured I'd give myself yesterday to rest. And after I talked to you guys, and I realized that, I felt a little guilty about it. But when I laid down, I realized I really wasn't feeling great. So I was feeling guilty about it, but I text Mom and I text Curtis, and I just let them know, hey, if you come, like my mom, if you come downstairs and you see me sleeping, I'm not feeling good. Hopefully I'm just run down. And she's like, did you get your flu shot yet? Please go get your flu and COVID shot. I'm like, yeah, I know. So we're texting. And it's funny because we'll text each other even though we live in the same house. But honestly, even if it's just a cold, my mom is older, and I'll talk to you more about her health situation in another video. But she's doing really good, but she's 80 now, and she has a health situation. She's doing good, and it's being she's taking care of it, and she's doing really well, and it's being monitored by doctors and everything. I mean, just her age too is like, if I'm getting a cold, do I want to get my mom sick? No. So me letting her know is really good. Also, the other day I did do her laundry. I'm trying to stay on top of things because I will go off into la la land. I asked Curtis if I could have the car today. I feel guilty because sometimes I will say in the morning, like, I'm going to do XYZ. Time blindness happens. Sometimes it literally feels like I sit down and I have my breakfast, like now. And it literally can, if you want to imagine how it can make you feel crazy, imagine not having a sense of time. So it's kind of funny because sometimes I can, kind of sense a certain amount of time, but it's weird. It's really weird. I don't understand how other people know like how much time has gone past. And it's not just because I don't not just because I'm distracted, because that's definitely part of it. But one of the things I learned about, okay, we're at 15 minutes, is there's a part of your brain that actually senses time. And I want to get more information on that because I don't 100% understand it. I used to just think it was because I was distracted, and then I was like, oh my God, how did I'm a XYZ, my internal dialogue to myself is vicious. I'm a bully. Because when I was younger, that's the only way I would snap out of it. Like, what the F is wrong with you? Get up, go do this, that, and the other. Because it seems to be the only thing that works. But it's not healthy or kind. God, we're so mean to ourselves, aren't we? So, bear with me. Hopefully, by the end of this 20 to 30 days, this will not be as bad. I do feel crazy. I was thinking a lot about how I haven't been outside. I still haven't gone outside. As soon as I turn this off, I'm going to go do something else, like maybe take a shower, And in between me going to take a shower and get ready, and in my mind, okay, I'm going to go do an errand, I'll get started on something else. And it's just like one after another after another. It almost feels like the average person, or maybe, was I ever able to do that without getting distracted by so many things? It does feel like it's gotten worse over time. I don't know if this is a good analogy, but it almost feels like you get up to go walk to do XYZ, and in your head, you can easily see yourself, okay, I'm going to get up, and you visualize, get up, get the food, sit down, eat, drink coffee, drink the water, you're watching a news segment. I'll put on the news because I figure it does a loop every 30 minutes. So if it's not too engrossing, it's not too interesting, I'll actually be like, okay, I've been watching TV for half an hour. And it kind of is like built in. If I do the built-in boredom, I've done that since my 20s, and that seems to work. Only now I've got this little phone, this distraction box with the internet and Amazon and Pinterest and YouTube and all of these things that are an ADHD person's kryptonite, right? So yeah. So they know this. The people who make these little video games, they built addiction in. And if you have a dopamine deficient brain, all those little colors and noises of the video games, they really catch you. And you're like, oh, immediately, like whatever else you were going to do is gone. So to me, getting up and starting XYZ, whatever it is, in my head. So the example for me, I visualize myself. If you see in your mind, like, okay, I'm going to do this, I could easily see, get up, walk to the kitchen, pour some water, drink some water, drink the water, take my pills. So it would be walk to the closet, grab my pills, put them in my hand, get a glass of water, take them, get a plate, put a roll, put the breakfast. So I could have cereal. There's other things I have, but that's just like the high protein option I have right now. Pour the coffee in a glass, I make iced coffee. Um, when he makes coffee in the morning, I'll have him leave some for me. Um, if it's still warm, I'll put ice in the glass and then I'll pour it over the ice. Put in the creamer. Bring the plate and the coffee. Oh yeah, fill my water bottle. Bring those things over. Sit down to turn on the TV. I watch for like 15-20 minutes. That's the sticking point when I start to get sleepy. And this I notice for other people with ADHD as well. These are traps because it's so comfy. And when you sit down, it's telling your brain that you're tired. But you're not just going to jump up before you're done eating, right? And then in my mind, so I have pills, food, protein. Oh, you might wonder why I do it that way. So the mantra and saying that to myself is to basically, if your brain getting distracted by XYZ is kind of like a puppy. Squirrel. What's this? What's that? Oh, I got to do this. What's that? What's that? So this is the equivalent of, I don't want to say like putting a leash on it. You're directing yourself. If it's part of the 1, 2, 3, your brain wants to do this, that, and the other. No. What's the first thing? Pills. You literally stop yourself from doing anything. And if you have to like literally do this to your face, don't look at the dirty dishes. Don't look at anything. Don't look at the laundry. Walk over, get the pills, and you just go take it. Isn't it crazy? Like, how is such a basic thing, like getting ready in the morning? Like, how do you get stuck right after you sit down to eat? It's like your whole day is sabotaged before you even start, right? So, yeah, that's why I started walking in circles this morning. I'm sorry if that made you dizzy. Yeah, just sitting here, I want to go to sleep. So after I do pills, food, protein, the next would be like the daily clean, the get ready, and then you have the rest of the day to do your goals. And I use a planner, which as I was sitting here, I've got a pile of blankets here and a pile of yarn here. And I'm like, okay, well, just before I started recording, I'm like, I feel like a hoarder. This is not making fun of hoarders at all. You know, I can relate to them in some way. You know, so the planner is a way that you can track your progress. So I have to start using it today. This is so embarrassing. And I don't even know where it is now. I don't know how I got like this, guys. All right, I'm going to drink my water. How am I not going to get stuck in a loop? It's 10:15. So the goal is after I eat. So if you get through the pills, food, protein. Protein is just to remind myself to have protein with what I eat. And make sure medicine work better. What's the point of taking the medicine to raise your dopamine if you don't have the things in your food, protein, that your body needs to make the dopamine? You do need carbs as well. You don't want to go crazy and go completely no carb. I'm getting something done today. I'm doing it. So yeah, my day has 2 different mantras of 3 things. The reason for that is if you can only do one thing, even if it's for 3 days, 3 to 5 days straight, if you want to start slow, just do pills. Write it on your calendar. So now you're giving yourself credit. Then you know, I feel like you should stick pills and eat together. I feel like you really should. But if you have trouble, like, start with one thing, then do the eat. Now, after you do that, what's the next thing that you're adding? So you're starting small, you're starting with one thing, and it's mortifying, it's embarrassing. You're like, how do I feel like so disabled. I feel like an insane person, like a vegetable. Like, what the, like, why can't I even do basic stuff? Just let that go. Start small. And I'm going to find my planner, and then I'm going to teach you how to use it. So after pills, food, protein, for me, so you would have to write down what you want to do is, in our heads, we want to like have our space be super clean, but we have to go to work. Now, this, if you physically get up and go to a job, you have structure built in, you're already doing it. So this is not going to apply to you. But if you work at home and you don't have to work at a specific time and there's no structure built in, this might apply to you. Ask yourself, now you have to do baby steps. So you start with one thing that you do each day and you build onto it. And it's embarrassing because you want to do a ton. And you know in your past, you're like, I used to do blip, 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 blip. And it's maddening. I'm talking in circles. I'm sorry, I'm repeating myself. There's so much I want to do. So yeah, I'm out of shape. And I'm getting older. I'm turning 50 soon. I do have a concern as far as brain health goes for a lot of people in my family on my dad's side have had Alzheimer's. Like my father and like his siblings that were his age, like him and his brother, had maybe one of my aunts, but I don't know very much. And I don't want to share too much because I might be wrong, because I haven't been in touch with some of them. The aunt that's closer to my age is not. But like my uncle who's passed, from what I understand, he started having symptoms young for Alzheimer's. My grandmother, my dad's mom, and her siblings. I know about one of her siblings, and I might be remembering this wrong, but from what I understand, like they all had it. Now my grandmother was very active. Yeah, this wasn't going to be very long, and now I'm talking about Alzheimer's. It does relate because some of the people in my family started to get symptoms around my age. I think one of them maybe in their late 40s, early 50s. Another one I can't remember if it was in their 60s. My dad was pretty physically active, so I think that's why he wasn't getting as many symptoms. He passed away, I would consider young, from a heart attack. I think he was 72. I will look it up. I'll look it up. 72, something like that. But yeah, that was sudden. So that's a concern of mine. The way I think reminds me, as much as my father and I were very different from each other, I think that I take more after like his way of thinking. Maybe not our personality, but the way the thinking is. Because when he wasn't working, like in between jobs towards the end, he was doing contractor work, as far as engineer type work. So I remember, this is going back to when Obama passed a law. Ironically, I'm not going to get into politics really, and I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and I'm really not going to get into this side versus that side, because that is not the point. But the point is, there was a law that was passed that was supposed to protect citizens from having job insecurity, and it create unintended consequences. These laws that they're stupid. I'm sorry. I don't think that some of these politicians really think through. I think they're stupid. The laws are stupid anyway. So this law, I can't remember. I'll get back to you on it, but it had to do with trying to give people more benefits on their jobs, more security. And so what happened is, businesses, to protect themselves, they couldn't afford to give all of those employees all those benefits. So what they ended up doing is, people who had like permanent positions, like regular full-time positions, I don't remember if they were laid off. Like, I don't remember if, but if you did leave, the only, jobs available became temporary contractor jobs after that. So that's why I think people are stupid. I'm sorry. That's really mean. I don't know if it's a neurodivergent thing to me, like my brain works differently, or if other people feel this way too. I just feel like, wouldn't you think through these things? Like, regardless, if you want to get into corporate businesses being corrupt and all this crap, it doesn't matter. Businesses are existing to make money, and they have to balance regardless. So take that out of your mind, because we're talking common sense economy, like economics right now, just the basics of business. So remove that. There are businesses like that. So, but we're not talking about that. We're just talking about basic economics, basic business principles. If a business now has to provide services like health care and other things that they weren't before, they have to compensate for that new expense. So what else are they going to do? So that is not why I'm doing this video. I've talked about everything under the sun. What was I doing? I'm going to drink my water. Wow. Guys. So the different thing I'm doing today is I'm going to start walking again. I walked for 10 minutes. I'm going to walk again. And I'm going to make sure I drink water today. I think that was part of what's been going on. I think I've been dehydrated. I think I've been resting too much. I've been out of shape. I think that my muscles are atrophying. So I want to start walking every day, drink water. Oh, so the first 3 things, the reason why you only want to give yourself a couple things a day is you want to set yourself up for success. And for ADHD, usually we can only give ourselves a couple goals a day. And in your brain that you're capable of like tremendous amount of things. So to you that seems stupid, but try it. If you try to do 50 million things like suddenly all at once, it's not going to work. If you can, maybe your ADHD is not that bad. Maybe you can. That's awesome. Good on ya. I had to go. It's 34 minutes. So pill 2 protein's the first thing, so your day doesn't get worse. So like I said yesterday, making sure that you take your medicine is most important. If you're starting at ground zero, you're starting at step 1, That's the most important. The most important. I mean, specifically if you are treating depression as well. You can't mess with that. That will sabotage every effort you have to move forward. So, no matter how long it takes or how many weeks it takes, if you take your pressure off of you to do a million things a day, if that's what you're starting with, that's what you're starting with. But for me, I build up after that. I do a small amount of picking up, but that's tricky for ADHD folks, right? So, and we'll talk more about that. When you're starting to do your daily cleaning, when things have gotten really bad and you have a mess everywhere, we're gonna start tackling that, and I'll show you how you can adjust your expectations and how to start and how to slowly get down to a rhythm where start to catch up on your daily cleaning to the point where you can just do a few things a day and maintain it. But in the beginning, you're going to want to cry because you probably have piles of things on the sink. You probably have piles of laundry that you need to catch up on. So it takes a little bit. But once you're caught up, you want to give yourself, as far as your daily cleaning, you want it to be something that's simple, that doesn't take a long time and doesn't take a lot of effort. So you do have to adjust your expectations. You do have to say, okay, what's functional? What is the least amount that I need to have done every day, and start there. So for me, the most important thing is for me to do the dishes, make the bed, and do the trash. I've gotten in a good habit of just making the bed real quick. Like I said, this is embarrassing. If the average person sees this, they'll be like, what's wrong with you? Why is that hard? That won't make sense to you, and I get it. And we can talk more on another video about why it's really hard for people who have ADHD or are neurodivergent and have issues with executive functioning, and why that interferes with your daily, getting cleaning done. Yeah. Oh my God, I've been talking to you guys for 37 minutes. If you watch this, God bless you. So, my goals for today. Okay, ready? Drink water. I'm drinking a glass and a half. I'm going to drink 2 glasses of water. I want to walk for another 10 minutes. Dishes and make the bed. And then I might change that. I might just get ready first. I'm going to stop rambling. I'm going to go and do my thing, and then I'm going to come back. Love you guys. Bye.